Guys, I'm an idiot. I recorded an entire video. It's 4 in the morning, so we've been here since 3:30, 3:40, and I was recording a video with ChatGPT pulled up, and I completely realized that I didn't have my mic, so then the quality of the sound sucked. So essentially, we made a video, and it sucked. So what are we talking about today? How we produce millions of dollars in real estate my first year, and I think I don't think it's nothing too crazy, but I think a lot of people would find a little bit of I think people would learn. I think especially younger real estate professionals would be able to relate. I think starting real estate and is really hard. And I started as a mortgage loan officer, and I've been doing it a little bit over a year now. And we're on track to close over $10 million my second year in the business. So I'm really happy with how things are going in general. And, we're doing our thing. Anyways, my first year, I think I sold like 24 homes. So that's like, I think between $6 to $7 million in real estate. So I just want to share about some of the stuff that I learned. And, it's like, if you could save to yourself some time, a little bit, by listening to Chris, I think it would be pretty cool, right? So first thing I would say, damn, I'm tired. Why am I yawning? I gotta be enthusiastic, and I'm over here yawning. Jesus, that would be boring. Imagine you're trying to watch a YouTube video to entertain, and there's a guy wearing a bright suit, but he's yawning. Like, damn, you've been partying or what? No, we just work a lot. Anyways, so first thing I would say is master sales, man. You gotta learn how to sell, because none of this matters if you don't know how to sell. And the reason why I say that is because I used to suck at sales, and I used to suck at converting leads. And I was like, man, what is, like, why do I suck? Like, honestly, like, I think that's one thing that I thought about a lot. I was like, why do I suck at my job? Like, why can't I close a deal? And so once I learned how to close deals, I was like, whoa. I was like, actually, like, every sale is the same. If you guys know where I got that from, I'm not even going to mention where I got that from. Because if you know where I got that from, that tells me something about you. Every sale is the same. And once you realize that, you're like, oh, wow, I could just do that over and over. But I think a lot of it at first is trying to disassociate yourself from the sale and just, at least for me, right, it's just have a straight sale, right? I think a lot of people struggle with that, which is having a straight sale. But I feel like that's one thing that I mastered, just straight sale, like from open to close. This is no beating around the bush, just close. And not a lot of people feel comfortable starting off that way. I would say I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I don't like being salesy, but I don't think it's necessarily being salesy. It's just you being a leader and kind of pushing your deal forwards, right? Because you're ultimately driving the ship as a real estate professional, and it's your job to get your client to the closing table. Man, guys, I just wanted to say also, sorry to interrupt it, but this is the Christian Radio channel. It's 4 in the morning. I just got out the gym. I went to the gym twice. And this is the spirit of what the video is. It's like, you just got to work a lot. So first tip, get good at sales. So that's the first one. 2, the second most important is sales, because you could be taught this. So maybe this is more important. I don't know. You guys, it's up for debate. I think sales is more important. I think if you master sales, you can do anything. Even if you lack direction, you'll close. But you'll close more if you have direction. So, second one, how do you get direction? Mentorship. So mentorship is huge. I think one of my favorite things is the coaching I had, and the mentorship I had at my previous employer. I have nothing bad to say about them. I learned so much, and they taught me how to direct my week. And I think even though I was hard-headed about certain things, and I just wouldn't listen to things all the way through like I should have, which is crazy because now I pay for coaching and they say exact same thing except I wasn't paying for it. But they're saying the exact same thing in a way, a little bit more in that, which actually I would say is better. I like the stuff I have now, to be honest. I think before what I had was very limited, so essentially I would just get coached by the owner of the company every month with a team, and a lot of the team, I would say, to be honest, hate me or love me, bro. I was the goat of those coaching classes. You know, I mean, character is what happens when others aren't looking. And so when someone tells me, hey, like, this is what you got to do to grow your business, and it sucks, but I'm going to do it. And I would come back to those coaching sessions, and I know that every single time I came back, I progressed. And that's why I'm here now as one of the top retail lenders in the nation. Rate, baby. But so, damn, direction. So yeah, now, like I said, I briefly mentioned I'm paying for coaching now. That's been helping a lot. It just gives me tasks to do and just kind of structure my business and shorten the learning curve, so I'm not making the same mistakes that others are making. Instead of learning from others people's for the stuff they did right, learn from the stuff they did wrong. You gotta look at someone's failures. Man, I can't lie, you guys. I'm exhausted. Like, you guys have no clue how exhausted I am. Maybe you could see it in my face, but so first we talked about sales. Second is coaching. Third, I would say knowledge. So knowledge is important. You have to actually be competent, and you have to talk to the client in a way where you come off as the professional that's in charge and just knows their stuff. So you can't just be like, I don't know, I'll ask. You don't have to know everything, as long as you're not constantly just not knowing anything. I think you could not know a few things and be like, oh, actually, that's a great question. Or I think just sometimes I'm asked to be like, beat around the bush a little bit. But as long as you don't know that all the answers all the time, that's okay. That's okay. But eventually you want to become the answer, right? Where it's like, well, I have a problem, and they come to you. You want to be the person they go to get the answer to the problem. And you have to obsess over getting more knowledgeable. So knowledge is important. And it kind of goes back to what I mentioned with the direction. I was under a good team. Shout out to George Flores. Even though I think a lot of people have some resentment to their previous employer at times. But I really liked my past company. And my mentor, he helped me a lot. And I learned so much from him. And so just that's what I'm saying with knowledge. It's like when I was working under someone that's so knowledgeable, it made me like a beast, because I was like, I just was like a vessel. I was transferring that knowledge, and so now I have the knowledge myself, because that's where I learned it and I actually applied it. And then now I want to learn more and become better. And sometimes you outgrow certain environments, either personal or professional. You could always outgrow environments, and never be afraid to outgrow an environment. Never, never, never. I think I fear falling short more than I feel. I fear. I'm trying to think of the words that I want to say. Sorry, because I'm thinking. The point being is, the only thing that I'm scared of more than being uncertain is just not being the best I can be, right? And so when you're in a position where you could be uncertain, and like, you may not know everything, and you're gonna lack leadership, and you're gonna need answers to questions that you don't know the answer to, but you have to trust yourself to be able to find that answer. That's what makes you a good leader. It makes you stand out. And just when someone tells you no, you second guess it, right? Even if you're wrong, you're like, huh? Why? You just, why? You know what I mean? And I've talked about it in different video platform where I just mentioned um, that I closed the deal that I told that we couldn't close, and it was a good deal. So imagine had I said no. Um, Man, I'm so tired, guys. So the next one I would say is social media. So social media, you gotta post every day, and I would say keep it professional. I think that's definitely what you should post. You should post content where it's a good reflection of you and the brand that you're trying to build. And if you're getting leads but they're not converting into closings, then you're marketing correctly but you're not branding correctly. There's a big difference between brand and marketing, right? You want to build a professional brand, and when I say brand, I mean people think of you a certain way. I've heard, I've had a lot of people describe me as, oh, I see you hustling, and like, I think I branded myself as a hardworking person, and I think a lot of people don't brand themselves correctly. They post content, but they're being silly and goofy, and which that'll work. I think sprinkling a little bit of silly and goofy is good, and to each your own. And maybe I'm wrong, and there's probably people out there more successful than me than that make silly and goofy content. But I think if we're talking about my personal experience, my professional experience is that just keep it, business, and just you have to be someone that's presentable. So, for example, if you're looking to, if your family is looking to purchase a home, you want your profile to be presentable, where you could, someone could show it to their family, their friends, and be like, "Hey, this is who I think you should talk to. They seem pretty reputable and trusted." Um, which is crazy because now that I'm thinking, I don't think, well, I'm kind of just thinking about a year ago. Man, time flies. So I think that's another thing is make the days count. So I mean, you don't want your first year to go by and then you look back and be like, "Oh, I didn't really make any sales," right? It's like, well, then you kind of just, I mean, you learned probably, but you didn't make sales, so you probably didn't progress as much as you could have, which is important. Um, Man, I really can't think of anything. Oh, last one, I would say, just because I'm so tired and I filmed this already, but I messed it up, and I just got filmed just to film. Oh, okay, good. This is a good one that I left it for this far because then I could be a little bit more, less boring, less more personable. Work every day. And man, it's Sunday. It's 4 in the morning. I'm at the office. I'm tired as hell. I went to the gym before this, so I'm just exhausted. I remember yesterday I was getting frustrated over some things, and I was like, man, I think, am I getting burnt out? Like this, I never felt this frustrated over something like this before. Like, why am I feeling like this? Like, I know that I shouldn't be feeling frustrated. I could understand not being happy, but be feeling frustrated doesn't seem like me. But that just because that just becomes an obstacle to push. It's nothing but an obstacle. So when you feel tired, when you feel burnt out, when you feel like relaxing, it's an obstacle. Realize that. It's no more than losing a lead. It's no more than being bad at sales. It's no more than anything else. It's an obstacle from achieving a goal, right? So if you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm gonna work really hard. I'm gonna hit this goal," and then you're taking this day off and that day off and this day off, and you're waking up late, and then you're making excuses, and you're leaving the office early, and you're at the office, but you're not really making the time count. You have to take every second into account. And the reason why I say that is because when I started my business in the mortgage space, I used to work at a warehouse overnight from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, and I actually used to hide it from everyone. The only people that really knew was family, and I mean, it worked out. So most days I would leave the office around like 8, get home at 8:30, change, get to work at 9:30, and work. And I would get home at 6 a.m., 6:30. I used to work for George Flores, and Monday through Friday we had a mandatory meeting at 9 a.m. every day. So I would be up for that call. So think about it. I would be ready and on that call by 9, and they didn't even know what I was doing for like a month or two. It was crazy. Um, but I just worked every day. I just couldn't like I couldn't imagine not doing this full time, and so I needed to do it full time. And in order to do it full time, the only way I could do it full time is by working full time overnight. Because I was like, wow, I got to work overnight, and we just made it happen. And ever since we had our first closing, we closed consistently after then. And it's just doing stuff like this where it's like right now, I don't want to do this. I want to be in bed. I don't want to post this. What do people think? I'm cringe and I'm weird. Um, but you just guys to do the stuff that you don't want to do and eat your broccoli. And that's one thing that I've learned. And I asked my coach, I was like, hey, man, like, I read this. He was like, I read an article. And I was like, this is what you just did. How? And then he was like, so I appreciate that. Like, I did my research. And he was like, simple. Eat your broccoli. It's like, man, that's all there is to it. So don't take a day off. Burnout, feeling tired, that's only an obstacle. I just recently adopted that mindset. So I'm feeling tired, but that's just an obstacle, guys. I'm gonna look at this video, see if it's worth posting. Um, I know my energy isn't all the way there. I'm sorry, guys. I've been really busy. I haven't taken a day off in over 40 days, which is crazy to me. But we're really motivated. We're really driven. I feel really happy, really blessed. Man, I took a cold shower and it felt amazing. I don't know. I just feel like everything feels so great. Even just filming this video here at this office. I love this office. It's so beautiful. I love this little light. I love my suit. I love myself. I think I'm a good looking guy. I love you, the viewer. I don't know. I'm just happy. But if you guys need help financing real estate or are going to stay tuned for the next video, subscribe, call, text me, something. Y'all take it easy.